one of the beautiful benefits of this type of design is it can adjust to you where you are in your life. So instead of having to leave your home and have to start all over and deal with the changes in your life, home is still home. It's your sanctuary.
Welcome to Biz Stories Shared, where storytellers share their inspiration, motivation, some disappointments, and how they applied the lessons that led them to success. Stories are gifts. Listen as these gifts are shared. Now, here is your host, Charlotte Plott.
All right, hello storytellers. This is Charlotte Plott, and I'm thrilled to bring you our guest today, Jeanette Knudsen. Jeanette, are you ready to be a storyteller?
I am, definitely.
Great. I'm happy to have you here. And I want to tell our listeners a little bit about you. Jeanette Knudsen is an award-winning interior designer located in Mesa, Arizona. Her company, Design for a Lifespan, specializes in design for aging and universal design, something that fits families as they grow and change. She is the only designer in the area to serve on the National Design for Aging Council for the American Society of Interior Designers. While Jeanette was in school, she watched her grandmother being forced into leaving her beloved home for a senior rehabilitation facility. As a result, Jeanette decided to specialize in design for aging and universal design. Among her accomplishments, she redesigned a home newly purchased by an 80-year-old woman who cherishes her freedom to live next door to her daughter. Jeanette is an expert in how to continue to live in the homes of our choices as long as possible. Her gift is the ability to create a timeless look that anyone of any age would find beautiful as well as easy to live in. Jeanette, I've given our listeners just a little summary about you. So would you take a minute and tell us a little bit about you personally, because we want to get to know you better, and then give us an overview of your business?
I'm a daughter and I'm a sister of a total of 6 brothers and sisters. I am married. My husband and I will celebrate our 40th anniversary this year. I'm the mother of 2 grown sons, and I have 2 wonderful, delightful grandsons. And I love to do archery shooting for fun. So,
Archery shooting. Oh, how interesting.
yep, and uh, I'm a pretty good shot.
Well, good for you. Well, and then a little bit about your business.
Sure. My business is specifically named Design for a Lifespan because when I was in school, it was very important for me to have a business or a design firm that really made a difference in people's lives. Design is beautiful and interior design is important, but a lot of individuals see it as kind of fluff. And when I was at school, I was just watching the dynamics change between my parents and my grandparents, and my grandmother loved her home, but it wasn't a safe place, and it was very, very heartbreaking. And design for aging in place design, and universal design was just beginning to come on to the scene while I was in school, and that particular design really spoke to my heart, and I thought, that's what I want to do. So when I got done with school, I was very careful about the choice of my design specialty, and then the name Design for a Lifespan was specifically chosen to represent that type of design.
Well, that's wonderful, because it is heartbreaking when we see people who have to leave their home. It's so hard, and I have no medical background information on this, but it seems like the shock of that probably might start them on a downward spiral for their health.
Absolutely. My whole philosophy is no matter what happens in our life, the home should adjust to us. So I have an acquaintance that I know who was in her 40s, and she was involved in a drive-by shooting. And her mate was blinded, and her home, she ended up being paralyzed, so she does not have the use of her lower portion of her body. So when she got out of the hospital, she has a two-story home, and she had a 17-year-old son at the time, and she never saw her upstairs again. She had to sell the house and leave it. So that's one of the beautiful benefits of this type of design is it can adjust to you where you are in your life. So instead of having to leave your home and have to start all over and deal with the changes in your life, home is still home. It's your sanctuary.
Thank you. That's a very good description of what one of your clients went through. So thank you for sharing that. Jeanette, here at Biz Stories Shared, we start every show with our guest's favorite quote. Jeanette, what's your favorite quote? And please tell us the story about how you apply this to your everyday thinking.
Sure. One of my favorite quotes is, if you search for good, you will find favor. But if you search for evil, it will find you. And that's Proverbs 11:27. This particular quote speaks to me because I have always made it a habit since I was very young to be very careful about saying anything negative about anybody. So I always try to make a point to seek something positive about a person or even a situation. And, it's if I can't say something nice, I won't say anything at all. And that has served me very, very well. It has also allowed me to build trusting relationships between my friends and family, clients, and colleagues. So they know they will not hear me speak negatively about them or their homes or their choices. And in return, that has served me very well. I don't think I've ever heard anybody say anything bad about me.
Well, that's a very powerful quote. Thank you for sharing that and your rationale of why you pay so much attention to that. Well, now, Jeanette, some of the facets of your life, being an award winning interior designer, is a big one. So, along the way, you might have just had a whisper of discontent. We know when taking action, you either win or you learn something, and sometimes the lessons learned are more valuable than the actions taken. I want to ask you to tell us one of those times you just didn't get the results that you set out to achieve, and just a really good story about this.
This was a big one for me. I always thought that I could help my children avoid falling into our family history of substance abuse by being an extraordinary mother. And to me, being an extraordinary mother meant, being involved in their lives, knowing their family and their friends. I took parenting classes. I volunteered at their school and in their classrooms. I knew their teachers. I often expressed my love and approval for them. And, our oldest son, he flourished. He listened to what we had to say, and he followed a path that has led to a successful life. Now, our youngest son, he did fall into the world of addiction. And, it's an understatement to say that I was devastated. My biggest fear as a mom was losing a child to death, and that's the path that he was on. So at this point, my world fell apart. And, this experience taught me that the choices we make are our own, and that I cannot change another person, only myself. So I have realized that I didn't fail as a mother, only in my thinking, and that I can't prevent, I couldn't keep my children from making poor choices. So that that's my story.
That's your story. That's a very powerful story, Jeanette, and I'm sure it was hard for you to share that, but thank you, because it is so important for us to remember that we can't make choices for other people. And when you do everything that you think is right and it doesn't turn out the way you wanted to, I know it was just heartbreaking for you. So thank you for sharing that. And when we review every so often, we remember that we did learn lessons and they help us to move forward and to know that all of your work is somehow or other, even though it doesn't show it right now, maybe it did pay off.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what I want to do now, Jeanette, is to go to the other end of the spectrum. Let's talk about the time in your journey when you had an aha moment, when you became aware of the new path that you wanted to travel. So take us to that moment when the light bulb went off and take us through the steps you took to turn that idea into success.
Well, my most significant aha moment did come in the midst of our son's drug addiction. It was at that point that I realized that his choices would kill me if I allowed it. So for many years, I had dreamed of going back to school to study and practice interior design. So to save my sanity and to ease my breaking heart, I took a leap of faith and I actually walked away from my retirement package. I had 20 years in the banking industry, and I enrolled into an interior design program at my local school. And fortunate for me, my first degree, I was able to use all of my gen eds and get right into the design program. So that was really challenging. I mean, I was dealing with addiction, broken family relationships, quitting my job, returning to school full time, and not knowing how to use any of the required computer programs, the homework. The computer programs. I grew up in the era of papers, books, and pencils, and everything had to be done on the computer. So I was learning all that. So you kind of get the picture. But what I did discover through all this was how resilient and strong I am, and how passionate I am about interior design.
Well, that's really a wonderful story, Jeanette. And you are resilient, and once you set your mind on a course, you stay on it, don't you? Good for
Yes, I
you.
do.
Good for you. And look at the success that you have had helping other people to be able to stay in their homes. And if every home that you design doesn't result in that, still you've had such good success. And I can't imagine how challenging it was to go back to school and have to learn all of the new computer skills that you did. And you still passed. You still got your degree.
Yeah, I passed with flying colors with honors. So
Well, well, good for you. You just need to, anytime you get down, you just need to think about that and remember all that you have accomplished. That's great.
thank you.
Well, Jeanette, now I'm going to ask you to bring us to the present time and share your proudest entrepreneurial moment.
Well, I would have to say that my proudest entrepreneurial moment is I had the privilege of redesigning a historic home to meet the current and future needs of an 88-year-old woman. And it was her particular project that I actually won the award for aging in place. So I would say that is my proudest entrepreneurial moment.
Oh, that is really something. And on your website that you're going to give us the name of a little bit later, do you have pictures of the home?
I do.
Well, good, good,
I do.
because we want people to be able to go there and see it. And it is located in Mesa, Arizona, isn't it? But, I mean, the home is. No?
The home is actually in downtown Phoenix in the Willow Historic District.
Oh, okay. I
Yeah.
missed that little part that you, okay. Well, great.
I've also done for a retired CEO of a what do you call it, Fortune 500
Okay.
company. He owns a home in Bozeman, Montana, and I redid his bathroom for him, and that particular project is underway. So that's another project that I'm really proud to be part of.
Great. Good for you. People love to hear stories like yours and how you are making your business a success and helping others to thrive in their homes. So would you tell us one thing that is really exciting you in your business right now?
Well, while I was in school, they did a beautiful job in educating us on the interior design aspect of I mean, studying interior design. They taught us everything that we needed there. But our particular program didn't teach us business and marketing skills.
Oh,
So, yeah, and I worked in corporate America. I was not an entrepreneur and kind of got thrown into this uh, being an entrepreneur because of our market. When I graduated from school, there just weren't any jobs. So I started from the bottom and, I became an entrepreneur. And I am now enrolled in a 12-month strategic business transformation program.
wow.
Yeah, so it'll teach me what my design education didn't. It'll teach me those business skills that I'm lacking. It is. It's an online course, and the most wonderful thing about it is being taught by an experienced award-winning designer. So she knows this field, she knows this industry, and she knows how to build a strong design business.
Well, that really makes sense to have the instructor be involved in the same business that you are in because, as you say, she knows all the ins and outs of what you're dealing with. Good choice.
Yeah, it's kind of a shortcut, and it's like I'm not getting any younger, so keep
Good for you. Well, Jeanette, what's the best business advice that you ever received?
Well, one of the best things that I was taught when I was doing an internship, I was with a designer, and this particular designer actually hired me right out of school. And she had said to me, she says, Jeanette, she says, you will spend 80% of your time on business and 20% of the time in design. So my reality is 95% is business and 5% is design. So knowing this information before actually becoming an entrepreneur gave me a realistic idea of what the future would be like in this particular business. So in reality, I am a business owner who happens to do beautiful interior design.
What a good description of your business, and it's really sad that you have to spend so much time on the business part of it when I know that your love is to be doing designs and creating and sharing that skill with people. So I'm sorry that it has to be that way.
And that's okay because that particular piece of advice has really served me well. Otherwise, I would have been going crazy.
Yes, I can really understand that. Well, now then, what is the vision of the future of your business?
I would like our company to cause a positive ripple effect that is felt by, our clients, our vendors, our families that we serve, as well as personal family and friends, and the community. So to me, if I was to close the doors to our business and we were deeply missed, then I would have achieved my vision.
Wow. Well, that's very profound. Thank you for sharing that. Well, Jeanette, can you share one of your personal habits that you strongly believe contributes to your success?
Well, before I begin something, um, like, for example, before I went back to school, I take a look at the big picture and I analyze it. So I kind of do a flyover and kind of take a look at it. And of course, there's always those, you don't know what you don't know until you get into it.
Right.
I like to ask questions like, what do I want? Why am I doing this? Um, how do I get to the end result? What do I need? Who will it affect? And So then, and then I go for it, and then I don't give up. I just keep going.
I'd say that's a very powerful personal habit. And the thing that I picked up with as you were describing that is that you really do have a business mind. I mean, you're a good creator of design, but you're not lacking in the business acumen either. You've got it nailed. Good for
Well,
you.
thank you. Well, thank you.
Okay, now Jeanette, I'd like to know if you have an internet resource to share with our listeners which helps your efficiency, like Evernote or an app. And storytellers, you'll find the links to these sites in the show notes of today's episode at bizstorieshared.com. Jeanette Knudsen.
Actually, I do have two I would like to share. One of them is Evernote.
Okay.
Evernote and Basecamp. So
Oh.
Evernote, yeah, I have a marketing coach, and she actually shared both of these with me. So Evernote, it goes with me everywhere I go. I can keep notes in it, files, and documents all in one place, and they're easily to access. I can access it on the cloud. I can access it on my computer. I can access them on my phone, on my tablet. So that is a beautiful, beautiful app to use. And then the other one that I like, I use this one with my copywriter. It's called Basecamp. And Basecamp, it allows me to easily work on projects with others. So I could use this with a client if I needed. And it's an easy way to keep track and to stay on top of projects, timelines, and who's doing what.
Mm.
So I also use it for my marketing and social media. So I will, it has a calendar in there, and then I can keep track of what I'm going to post on what days. So between those two, I found those to be very instrumental to running my business.
They both do sound good, and I just want to mention, and I don't know if this is something that you might want to look into, but one of the podcasts that I did was by a gentleman named Hugh Culver, Culver, and if you go to my website bizstorieshared.com and listen to his podcast, he gives away a PDF on some good tips on using Evernote. He's a big fan of Evernote. So I know that you've probably got all that you need, but if you want to just check that out, that's where you can find that.
No, I think I will because there is so much to Evernote. I just have touched the surface, so
Yes,
that'll be awesome. Great.
great.
Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. And so now, would you describe for us who are perfect referrals for your business? By that I mean the business associates or clients that the listeners know who would benefit from doing business with you.
Oh, perfect. So a good referral for my business is mature homeowners. And when I say mature, 45 years and older. And they're individuals that are planning to stay in their home or a new to them home. You know, they're moving into a new home and they need to make some changes to the home. But they're looking for it to be their forever home or their last home or what I like to call it as their toe tag home.
Like that. Oh my, that's very descriptive.
I have a friend that said, she goes, "Oh, you do toe tag homes." So a toe tag is leaving her home until they put a tag on her toe and take her out in a body bag. When I describe it that way, my husband doesn't think I should do that. But I think it's absolutely the best way to describe this that type of client. So yeah, so I'm looking for, individuals that want to stay where they're at and they need to remodel, they want to update the home, the kitchen, the bathroom, even if they're just doing some, general decorating. There are certain things that we can do to the home to help make it stay safe and comfortable and beautiful and adjust to them as they move through their lifespan.
That's a very good description. Thank you. And that'll help the listeners know who might benefit from doing business with you. That's great. Well, Jeanette, now if you could recommend just one book to our listeners, what would it be?
Well, today, you can ask me in a year, it'll probably be different. But today, I would recommend the book titled The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. It's a,
Oh,
it's a, it's a very good book. It talks about the choices that we make today affect us tomorrow. So, you can make just doing simple things and doing them consistently can make a big change in the future, either for the positive or the negative.
oh, that's great. That was a good one. Thank you. Well, Jeanette, I've truly enjoyed listening to your journey and the stories that you've shared. So, would you please share one more time how we can get in touch with you and any other resources that you want us to have, and then we'll say goodbye.
Absolutely. It's www.designlifeband.com. And on our website, you will see the award-winning design for the 88-year-old woman that is in there, along with some other projects that I have done. A couple of them are for my 97-year-old mother-in-law who still lives at home in her home. So we've done some projects for her. So be sure to check out those photos. And also, I have a lot of free resources. If you go to Design Tips off to the right-hand side, there are quite a few resources there that are free. I have a ebook on 10 easy steps to stay in your home. So there's that one and a couple other ones. So if you have a chance, check it out.
All right, thank you. And Jeanette, thank you for being so generous with your time, expertise, and experiences. Okay, listeners, remember you can find links to this resource and everything that we've been chatting about in today's episode by going to bizstoryshared.com, Jeanette Knudsen. Thank you again, Jeanette, and goodbye for now.
Thank you.
Give the storyteller some love. Go to bizstoryshared.com, click on the iTunes button, and give a 5-star review. Thanks.